Welcome to the next big thing, the 2469 Community Podcast. Joining us today, we have Khurram, founder and CEO of Xreadylab and PlayNet; Muthana Shirzad, founder and CEO of Protium Technologies; Walid, founder of COOLNRAD; and Dave Washbrook, founder and CEO of Red Sea Reef Builders.
Welcome to the next big thing, and today we're gonna speak about Eureka moment. So first of all, guys, I don't know who actually knows what is Eureka moment. How can you describe this?
Eureka, yes. We all link Eureka to Archimedes. That's the person who it's well known. He used to use that word. It's a Greek word driven that I found it. That's what it means. I got it or I found it, and. He's Archimedes. He used to use it, and one of the famous stories that we hear is that he used it when he found the buoyancy. He was in the bathtub and he displaced. He dropped something in the water, and then he said, "Oh, that's equal to the amount of the water that Eureka!" And that's how it started. I don't know if there's any other definition of something. What would you add to it?
For me, I have the modern Eureka, which is so much developed that when I want to say Eureka for anything, I would say bingo.
Okay.
This is what I'm saying. This is the new kinky one, bingo for me.
Okay.
Yeah, for me, it's that moment that keeps you going, right? That's what I think. As a founder and entrepreneur, you go through a lot of highs and lows, and Eureka moments are those things that keep you going day after day. Because unless you do that, it's like being slapped and told you're stupid every day. You need that Eureka moment to keep you going without any loss of enthusiasm, and that's what it means.
Interesting.
Mm-hmm. I have actually several thoughts about this. So for me, one of the moments is like 4 a.m. when you call your co-founder and say, "Hey, I have a great idea." This is a moment of pivot. This is a moment where your team will wake up with new tasks.
Yeah.
Then another moment, always during the shower, you're like, "Oh," like after 3 weeks, somehow, I don't know, somehow in your stack. Oh,
Right.
That's how I should have done. There was a moment during this barbecue. Someone was throwing eggs to the barbecue, and we didn't know who was it, and it's impossible to check because there were no cameras. So in 3 weeks, when I was in the shower, I realized I could just took the pieces of the eggs and check the brand. So this was like kind of
Eureka. Khurram, you're in the gaming industry, right? I mean,
yeah.
And, when you play games and you score something, it's like, do you say yeah or do you say Eureka?
No, we say the words that if I say right now, it's gonna be censored. So.
Okay, all right.
I don't think anyone playing a game has ever turned around and said,
Eureka.
Eureka.
No.
That's what I'm saying.
F words. There is I think we can publish a dictionary of F words.
Eureka. That's Eureka.
Eureka. Yeah.
But
I think.
I was going to say, do you think in your mind though, you develop those, as you were saying, you think about something for long enough and then you forget about it and your brain is just constantly working in the background, and when it finally connects, you're in that flow mode. You go into flow, and suddenly I've done it myself, right? With my wife at night time, I had to tap her on the shoulder at 2 o'clock in the morning and say, "I'm sorry, I'm going to turn my phone on. I'm sitting there typing away notes onto your phone." It's like, I can't lose this moment. I'm in flow and I've got no choice about when it happens. This is it. And that's for me a Eureka as well.
So a question came up to my mind now. How many, as an entrepreneur, or founders, or you are inventors even, because all of us like that, how many Eurekas you are having each day or each week? How many times?
Is it the real Eureka or the fake one? So if I would like to define them.
Or it's called AI hype.
Well, the hype. Yeah, let's say the hype Eureka.
You can ask this. You can ask investors and funds. I think for them.
I'll define them. I'll define them for you. So all these ideas that we get, they are all hyped. Eurekas. Oh, I got it. Oh, yeah. And you keep going back and forth about it, and you research it. It's like, I got it. I'm going to do this. I'm going to do that. But the real Eureka moment, the true, is I call it the cha-ching Eureka. When you hit the jackpot, when you get investment, when you get funded, that is the true Eureka, I think, in my opinion.
Can't wait for that. I can't wait for that one. That one sounds like a good one.
For me, it's a little bit different, but it's not only about, because what I'm doing, it's more based on inventing things, more loose cases, okay? to enhance and rich in my work. So for me, because I'm working on like some deep technologies, and it has a lot of branches and roots and a lot of things. So each day I'm getting like 2, 3, 4 Eurekas or bingos, like what I said for me. So it's exciting all of the time to have working in my field that I'm doing. So a lot of Eurekas during the day.
Please share some pins where you're sitting. I want to sit like just next to you. So, and then some comment about this Eureka moment when you close around. I think this concept can be used for a successful fundraising, because if you know what to do so that the person in front of you could have potential the Eureka moment, that's how you increase the probability of closing the round. So for example, if investor, when he's on the Zoom call with you, at some moment he has this Eureka moment, that's how you close the round.
Yes.
For a founder, from the moment of Eureka to actually close the round, there is some time of the boring stuff. But yeah, if you know how to actually somehow trigger this event in the, like during the, I don't know, your B2B sales, so during the fundraising, that's how you can close faster. It's very interesting. If we knew while sometimes is this Eureka moment happening and what actually triggers, you could hack sales a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah,
True.
see, I find when I'm talking to an investor, it works in the opposite way for me, because I actually speak so much and I go into so much flow that then an investor that was close to closing can be like, oh wow, I hadn't thought about that. And obviously I've just brain farted everything out onto the call. And so it takes a lot to actually restrain myself when I feel like, well, I'm going too fast here, slow it down, stick to the numbers, stick to the basic stuff.
Speaking about Eureka moments, I mean, you're all innovators and startups, and we all decided to take this crazy life. But in my work, what we do similar. We do deep tech. We do very much in sustainability, into microbiology and biochemistry and stuff like that. Crazy stuff. No one wants to dip its toes into it. Okay, and to innovate in that domain, you really, really need to think outside the box. There is no room for orthodox, following something. Someone has done it and you just follow it. No, you need to think, and that's when you sometimes keep thinking about it and so many times that you think about, I got it, I'm going to do this, I'm going to do this. Yeah, I found the solution. And as soon as you go and you hit the internet, they've done it. Yeah, it's been done. Oh, it's failed. Oh, it's been patented. Oh, and you get that kind of, disappointing, feelings that, you thought that you're onto something. And I advise anybody that has those Eureka moments, do your due diligence before you ride the hype and you wake up your wife or you wake up your team members. Just go and do that. And
no, you're gonna lose this momentum, because while you're checking this, you're actually losing this emotions, because the moment where you can sell this to your team or co-founder is the best moment. Of course, you may be wrong. Maybe someone already done this, but
they're gonna hate you, man.
I would say it's very interesting to explore together, because sometimes when even you see that someone found the solution, it doesn't mean you shouldn't do this, because it's just the moment where you actually found some opportunity that wasn't obvious to everyone, because you just need to dive deeper.
That's the thing, where you need to be really knowledgeable in that domain, so no one has delved into that topic.
So it's a very interesting point right now what you're talking about. So what's the obstacles or the milestones for me? Most the biggest milestone or obstacle for any Eureka moment that I had, for sure, the caching thing, for sure. But I am very professional in my sector or what I'm doing, so I can do it in low budget. But sometimes we feel that we are restrained. There is some restriction from some parties or our team members or our co-founders. Or I think this is one of the things I hear. This is a Eureka moment, even sitting with you. So I need to hear from you also. What is making this Eureka moment very, or the milestones, the obstacles in our way for the Eureka moments? Each one of you, for us, from our perspectives.
David?
That's a really interesting comment to make. I think from me, when you say milestones, I think that is a really interesting way of putting it, because for me, a Eureka moment gets you that milestone that you don't go backwards from. You've reached that point, right? Whether it leads to you either taking a pivot or describing to your people and actually chasing those dreams or whatever you come up with next, and then you try not to go back from it. I don't know. It's a real challenge, because I think as many Eureka moments as you have, which is a positive milestone, I think you also have negative milestones, negative Eureka moments. Right. And I think that you kind of, you're slipping backwards and forwards. And eventually you get there, right? We're all on that same road to where your vision's going to take you. It just, no one knows how long that road is or how many milestones you have to
not
pass.
Sure that you're that same initial Eureka. You will get somewhere, but not there. So, Khurram, what about yours?
It's funny because before you announced this question, I wanted to ask you how we can develop this Eureka moment. But actually, this is a good start about the obstacles, if we can understand how to overcome this obstacle. So first of all, when you have, I think, too many ideas when you're in a rush, you will never catch this Eureka moment, because it's just a thresh of the words and information. That's why you need sleep. That's how our brain works. It just processes information, uses this, packs the data basically. So I think the first thing is wellness. Like, try to think about yourself and try to spend more time, because we have all these Eureka moments when you have actual more time for ourselves, and when we can do reflection, not just like answer all emails, but when some of the people I've seen in WhatsApp, some of them doing diving, I do surfing, some of them doing meditation. So for everyone, we have some more activities where we can reflect. So I think the biggest obstacle is not paying a lot of attention to the present moment and to ourselves. That's the biggest obstacle, because if you go to LinkedIn, if you go to, I don't know, TechCrunch or other media, you see a lot of information, and you have this fake Eurekas, you have this fake FOMOs, actually, founders, investors. And I think this is the best moment right now, is to think about something fundamental. And it's very symbolic that we speak about this origin of the word Eureka, because the more fundamental you are, the more successful you are right nowadays, because it's all other topics, they're flooded with information, and you cannot find real Eureka moment, I think. So
I think that's really interesting, because you actually ask yourself, would Archimedes have come up with what he came up with? It had just jumped in the bath, the water had come out, and it would have been, well, he's on social media and scrolling. He wasn't in the moment. So that's kind of what.
If Archimedes was in the social media, Instagram, was scrolling, he was visiting all these network events or like pitching to them, he would never find
he would have just known the floor was wet when he got out of the bath.
Probably would have drowned himself in that tub. Probably.
Yes.
For me, the biggest challenges when it comes to Eureka moment is, how, idea is as good as it is, as its implementation. And the biggest obstacle for me, or the next thing after I get the idea, is how do I actually make it happen? That is the biggest challenge. And that's when, when you see me sometimes in the house, I'll be just walking around back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. And I'm just thinking and I'm connecting every single dot. What if I do this and then this, and my brain will be just like on a super high speed. That's when I know I am on a Eureka moment. That's when I know my brain is doing like 200 miles an hour and is just working and trying to find, what if this? And I'm trying to find faults. It's like, okay, no, it can't be right. I question myself and I interrogate myself. No, this cannot be. Someone has done it. No, why didn't do it? Then, and then once I'm done out of the hype, then I need to figure out that, okay, how do I make it happen? This is where the biggest obstacle. What do I need? Right. What resources? What thing? And this is, most of these ideas gets confronted. Great ideas. Tesla. He actually invented the wireless charging. Along with Edison. Edison, was working with AC. Tesla was working with DC, and Edison did try. He built a tower to transmit power. He didn't have the technology advancements by then. He didn't have the tools. He didn't have the support that he wanted. It lack of funding. The tower that he built in order to transmit power from it was demolished before even it was demonstrating. Look at us now. We do everything wireless chargers. So, those constraints were actually, they scare me the most. Whether can I make that happen?
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah.
So you really touch in interesting stuff about obstacles. Also the people who surround you. Some of them people, they're not confident in themselves and they will be giving to you as many comments as possible that it's impossible to do because they actually don't believe in themselves. That's also an obstacle. But it's interesting if we try to make this round again and listen to each other, it's possible to actually create a framework of like how anybody can reach this Eureka moment and use it in any field. So we just need to understand the set of obstacles and then the tools how to overcome these obstacles.
That takes me to a question. When you get this Eureka moment and then you realize that this was BS and it was it was something that you had and you truly believed in it. And, I don't know how far you would have gone with it, but that's the time when you wake up from that hype and then you need to pull the plug. I mean, how many times do you have to go through this?
Actually, I have the same question. I was thinking about it now while we are discussing that. There is the very big Eureka moment, not the small Eurekas that we are getting. This big Eureka moment, how much you can sacrifice for it. For me, I had it before 7 years. 7 years, I started from nothing. I didn't work anything. I sacrificed all of my funding, even relationships, even social. It was everything in my life going down.
You sound
But
you sound like an entrepreneur.
I was.
Are you a founder?
Are you a founder?
I'm a founder. I in the beginning, I was entrepreneur, then a founder, then 7, 8 years is a long time. You will be like taking different roles. So I believed in this moment and I believed about what I'm doing. So I sacrificed everything for 7 years. Even I'm not letting myself think about anything else.
Because you believed in it.
Yes, right. And
when did you pull the plug?
I think I didn't.
You didn't. Well done.
It's like
I'm
New Year, like the
perseverance.
year number 8
This
is.
is what
I think
I'm
this
doing
is-
now after 7, 8 years.
Wow,
But this
okay.
is what I because I believed in it.
Yes.
And I put everything in this Eureka moment because I had that much of resources, knowledge, because it's
That was a
part of my
big
sector.
Eureka moment. Were there any small Eureka moments that you had to pull the plug on them?
Yeah, sometimes, yeah.
But that's I love how this is turning into a
Because
group.
of the constraints that we talked about now.
This is turning into a group therapy session. I love it. It's great.
Yeah.
The question is coming
I am
out
the
of
founder,
this therapy.
I'm-
Yeah, because
Trying
to
make
say,
use.
do you go through that period of self-doubt? I mean, let's face it, entrepreneurs, you go down that line and you think, oh, it's amazing, it's amazing, amazing. And then you step in front of people that just, they're not on either the same level, they don't see you with that same kind of thought process. And you're like, come on, I thought about this last night. This is amazing. Why can't I get people interested? And that takes you in steps backwards. And for me, I need to, at that point, I'd need to not re-examine myself too closely because then the self-doubt gets worse. And I feel like I need to press forward and commit. I mean, in my past, I was in a corporate for a long period of time, right? And in a corporate, I realized now I was inside this box. And suddenly I got a chance to step outside of that and my vision became so much wider. And then you realize exactly how much is possible. So you don't actually get slowed down by negativity. You keep going faster or try and build up that momentum. And unfortunately, that's what takes you down the line of when should you stop versus when you're going to stop. And I think it's not in an entrepreneur's nature to just say, you know what, I tell you what, I'll go back. Even though people around you are saying,
David,
go
that's
back and accept your salary.
Probably the most successful people, businessmen, actually, they know when to pull the plug in the right time.
Yeah.
That's because they know they don't dig for themselves a bigger hole. They know that's time I need to ditch this boat and jump on another one. How about you, Khurram? How many plugs did you pull?
I didn't count, but like we pivoted in the second company 5 times.
5 times.
Yeah.
Okay.
So every time we were about to close the company, we got some new investor in the round. They were saving us. But most of the, I'm just like, it's so interesting. Like once I met you guys, I have this multi-threads. I have several threads that is happening in terms of Eureka and what you mentioned. I think the more it's actually the explanation of why this quote "fail fast" it actually works. The more you fail, the better actually your neural engine that can do filtering. So it's like a grid, and every time you have new ideas, like I had something like this. So for example, I'm all the time in all my pivots, all the ideas was connected with future work that the young generation can somehow get the jobs. But I could never explain what kind of jobs. I just felt this hype. Oh, the teenagers can work with brands, and if I look at all my pivots, ideas was actually the same. But and now I know how to filter. So this is the first thing. Fail fast, fail as fast as possible, and just believe in yourself and keep on going. But it's very similar actually. I describe this ideas with the moment when you see, for example, a beautiful woman or a future wife. You just look, and
Right, we'll keep going.
Live from first look. Love from first look. Oh my god.
Yes,
the same feeling.
No,
I
I actually describe because I love EDM festivals, and I visited when I was I'm 27 right now, but when I was 22, 23, I was visiting nightclubs. So, there is a moment that everyone is living in at 4, 3 a.m. and you saw this person for example, at 1 a.m. or 12. And then this person either already found someone or already everybody left, and you have this feeling, oh, I didn't try, what if? So this is actually the moment when you don't miss this opportunity. And even if you're afraid to approach someone, you'll approach because you just see this person, you don't want to miss this opportunity.
Khurram, I have word for that. That's called alcohol.
No, I don't drink alcohol. No. No, I even don't drink alcohol. The same feelings actually a lot of surfers they have. When you see wave, new wave,
they run to it.
Yes, we're just oh, look at this, and they're ready to cancel all calls. They reschedule, and I want to go there. So it's the moment when you don't think actually. Yes.
You don't think,
right?
You just go ahead.
You just feel it. Yeah.
You just feel it. You feel it.
Yeah.
You feel it. I do. When I get those moments, I tend to feel them. Something like a butterfly in my chest. I feel something inside.
Yeah.
And I'm trying to catch my breath. Is that real? Okay. Is that? It could work. And I go back and forth, and that pushes. It's like putting more fuel on the fire, and then goes back. Overthink it, back and forth.
It's called real life. It's life.
I call it the walk of a billionaire. This is how I feel.
Billionaire.
The billionaire. When I had this Eureka moment, the big one, not the small, the child of the children of the Eureka, you will feel that you are walking as a very expensive, rich man or car. Even if I had some moments that I have in my pocket, even maybe $10 or $5, but I felt that I have more than 100 million in my pocket because it's really enrich you.
And it took you 7 years to realize.
Right. That's really interesting.
7 years, but let's be honest. Support, it's important from anyone, like your friend, one of your family members. It's very important because I will be honest, 7, 8 years, everybody's like, you were a successful person. What did you do to yourself? It was like that. But to be honest, one friend was believing in me and my mother. Okay. They were very much supportive. The support, it's very important. Because if there is no one is supporting you, I don't think you will continue. You need at least one person.
Yes.
Even if it's a crazy idea, failure, you need one person.
You need a rock to go back home
to. Go back.
Yeah, I like what you talk about the walk of the billionaire. I was watching an interview of the founder of Airbnb the other day, and he said the difference between an entrepreneur and being unemployed is just a matter of perspective.
That's right. It's right. It's right.
Oh, thanks for lifting the spirits.
Well, no, absolutely, because I've been there, right? So I went through all these stages, and people say, "Oh, well, why did you decide to do what you do? Why did you decide to walk away from your salary and your stability and everything?"
We ask ourselves that question. What did we do to ourselves?
Yeah,
sometimes, don't you? It's like, why? Why did I do that?
But do you have a moment then? So is that Eureka moment, that moment where you say, you know what? I'm an entrepreneur. That's what I want to be, and you're searching for it. So is that your first Eureka moment?
For me, so far, because as we mentioned, a long time, and I've been alone or with some investors, or I'm investing, or I don't care what I am now. I care that I'm doing what I like, and I'm reaching now the place that I want. Hopefully, that's what I'm doing now. Finally,
Yeah.
I reached. So I think it's a success somehow. Thank you.
So, you mentioned something very important: support. So, as I said earlier, the idea is as good as its implementation. When you have the POC, the proof of concept, that it works, and obviously supported by a good due diligence to the market. Who's going to be your users? Is it something that you can sell, you can promote? But along with that, there's something very important: the support. If you don't have a support from family members or friends or anyone, it's very hard to take that journey by yourself. And this is where it becomes very dangerous, because sometimes your Eureka moment could have some valuable IP, and sharing that IP with someone to collaborate with or to get a support, that's where it becomes a bit iffy. Do I say it? Do I protect it? Is it worth protecting? Is it? So what was your journey? I'll start with Khurram. Whether if you had an idea that you wanted to protect it, but also you wanted to share it at the same time, was there any time?
First of all, right now, I think I just realized that I don't want to protect any ideas, because if you're really the founder of the idea, like there is a perfect match, then it will happen. It will happen by you. It's like somehow written. I believe that some of the ideas, even if you look at the founders like Steve Jobs, it was written that like he should create, he could share with anybody. So I would say that in my life, I have a lot of ideas that I would love to realize, and I would love somebody to start doing this. And I think it's the next moment, like when you're starting to be an investor and you just start supporting the founders. So I think my dream role I would love to be this investor that can push the founders and can share my experience and do this filtering of this Eureka moments. But yeah, all the time, a lot of ideas, but
So you don't protect your ideas, you just share
I
them.
didn't like I don't see I was thinking a lot about this sometimes. When you're on a Zoom call with somebody, even if they're not competitors, but they're asking the very right questions, and you have this moment, oh, maybe I share like too much, maybe then they're coming back to you, and like they even when you don't work with them, sometimes in 6 months they like show something, you're like, oh, we spoke about it. Especially it happens when there are B Corps or like Series B, Series C startups. They raise like 50 mil, 60 mil, and then they approach early stage founders and they want them to onboard, but they don't onboard them. They just listen to them, and then they realize some ideas, or they're talking about these ideas.
Stealing their ideas and stealing the Eureka moment.
Yeah, but don't you think, I mean, it came to you in a Eureka moment. Okay, if you talk about it, then they try and take that kind of your idea and try and make it. They don't have the engine room behind the idea.
Yes,
you're the engine room behind the idea. You're the one, the Eureka. You're the one that's linked all your neurons together to come up with it and keep progressing.
Yeah,
it, right?
so I would love to add a quote of Peter Thiel. So actually, competition is for losers. So that's connected. I'm actually ready to share. You know what actually I'm doing? I keep on sharing these ideas like with everyone, and sometimes people say no, like you don't need to show all these details, but I know that most of these people, they even if they start doing this, they don't have enough things to finish it. It's if you don't have the mission, you're not going to finish this.
Yeah.
So even if you saw some idea, but if this founder of this person doesn't have something inside that will drive him for the next 5-7 years, you shouldn't be worried. If this person has, that is the moment. If something inside this person is bigger than you have, then this person should do this. It's life.
And I think I probably, now thinking back on it, I did go through the protection process for a few of my ideas. But it was because I was just leaving a corporate where that was the mindset, right? You're taking on something inside. And so actually I kept that mindset. But now on reflection, what I'm doing is for sustainability. It's for cleaning up the oceans. It's for making sure that the health, the biodiversity of the oceans. And it took It took 200 years for every company on the planet to mess up the oceans, right?
Yeah,
I mean, I need competition to help me to do the do the work, right? And everybody has got that broad range of thought processes. They see it from a different place. They either grew up next to the ocean or they didn't. They've got other thought processes than I've got. And so actually I've got the vision that I want to have. I've got the values that I want to have. Everybody can join together and fix it, right? So it's that broader challenge.
Your Eureka moment is a public knowledge then.
Yeah, I mean, it's essentially the fact that I know that everybody needs help, right? The world is a very big place. The oceans are huge places.
Very nice.
And so it means that I need people to come to the cause, essentially.
Very nice. For me, I am in between this and that. What happened with me that, yes, if I want to protect too much, I will lose time. I will lose everything I'm doing, because protection also it's a double-sided. It will waste everything you did. But in the same time, I was thinking on the other side, what I'm doing, like what mentioned, I need a competition there, even because it will give the publicity. It will let this technology see the sun. This is something good, but we need the minimum protection. We need it. But what happened, I saw a live example about one technology that can save the whole globe, by the way. All of the carbon emissions, the global warming, everything. I will not say in which place of the globe.
I would protect that.
they will do a huge impact. We're talking about 20% to 30%. That means saving years for the coming generations and our grandchildren. What happened? Because of their overprotecting. 10 years they are fighting. Then the founders split. Then they are IPs. Then and it was a lost case, a very important thing for me. Now this is in general, but for me, what I'm doing, the good thing that because I have a good knowledge about what I'm doing and I developed it, okay, even when anyone will, let's say I presented this idea for any investors, any party, I don't care, because when I am there, they will be still there, down, because I am ahead at least 5 years before anyone will join. Welcome. They will give me the good publicity. There will be competition. We will be, because the globe is very big. It's a worldwide thing. I can do it everywhere. So the knowledge that I have, the years that I invest will protect me. Yeah. This is my perspective for this thing.
Yeah, and I also think there's something to say for actually when you think about it and you think about the protection you put in place, who is actually the winner there? And it's probably the lawyers that are going to be fighting it out, right?
Exactly.
That's where the money is going to go into. You can put your money into it. And actually, when you're starting to think about protecting, you're probably in quite a vulnerable position as a founder or an entrepreneur that doesn't have the amount of money that it takes to continuously put in to make a patent that has got decent protection anyway, right?
But in the end, it depends on what is this Eureka thing, or let's say the IP that if something it's easy to be done, okay, yes, you need to protect it for sure.
I mean, my Eureka, I did follow the same route as well. I had a Eureka moment. I was able to take the IP and went through the patenting process. Now I look back as like, how much did I spend? But as a founder, as a startup and companies, and you need those markers on your shoulders, just to tell the investors, look, we do have endorsement, we do have this. Right. So it's a very expensive exercise. And also, just for the audience to know as well, I mean, you patent somewhere, it doesn't, you have a patent. I mean, whoever has followed that system, they know. If you don't patent all the countries around the world, your patent can be broken. And if you leave one country in the world, then it can be broken in that country. So unless if you are multi-billionaire and you can afford to patent your technology in 192 countries around the world, then maybe it's worth it and pay the fees. And that's why it's protecting the ideas. You have to be very careful. Do we really want to put but initially, when you have a Eureka moment, and we go back to the Eureka moment, and you want to share it with someone, you want to, kind of, you have that urge, like I found it. I want to tell
share.
someone. I
Right.
want to tell my wife. I want to wake up my team. Look, I found it. I got it. And that's when you have to be very careful. How much do you want to share? How much do you want to tell?
Right.
Especially if you have a community around you who some people might be doing something similar to you, and do you really want to share that, or do you want to protect it to yourself so you can have that gap before they can catch up with you?
Right,
And
right.
that's was the
depends on the
interesting
idea,
thing
right.
that when you say the use the word protect, you most of the time you use lawyers like patents, but it's not about there is a different side of this. It's all about the PR and media. You don't need to protect. You don't need to go to lawyers. But if your clients, if for example investor, they will associate you like with this problem. Like for example, you hack somehow the SEO, you post more on media, like you're the one who's solving this. Actually, how it's not about the protection, it's about
the results of the work
huh?
rather than the work itself. You share the results of your work, not the work. So no one would know about the work, but they know what you have achieved.
Yeah, I'm talking more about the brand. So my favorite example is the example of the Red Bull. So if you go to and it's this video is actually they're viral about how Red Bull and Apple works. If you go to the social media account, they never post, oh, we've done this. They always have something fun, and you just want to be the part of this community. For example, Red Bull is all about the extreme, about the athletes. So I'm just talking about that. There are actually tools that we are using in two companies, and I want to use. It's all about the hacking the right keywords and hacking the traffic. The more posts on LinkedIn, the more posts with some other partners, it just helps you to get more traction, more clients, and more investors. Because sometimes, and I suppose you'll also had this, you see some posts from like big venture funds, some founders, and the post about something that you were pitching or talking like 2 years ago. And I was like, guys, like, we were pitching this, don't say this, like it's like everybody, but why you didn't do this? Because we as founders, we think, oh, we need to build, we need to show traction. No, like it's all about the
We're pushed
balance
to do this.
Yeah, but it's all about the balance, of fake it till you make it.
Fake it. Oh, I hate that.
Yeah.
I hate that. So please don't take me there. Fake it. And this takes me to another question, which is, the Eureka. In which direction? Is it in a good direction or the bad direction? Someone might have a Eureka moment of solving the ocean pollution problem, and someone might come with a trivial, really, honestly, something very materialistic that serves very niche people that they have nothing else but just, consuming resources in the world, and you are just supporting them. Oh, I found something. Let's do more on that. And this is the idea where the ethics in the Eureka moment.
I think it's a feeling, right? So regardless of what it's about, I think if everybody feels like they're on the planet for a purpose, an entrepreneur, when they find that purpose, gets that dopamine rush, right? And that feeling of, oh my God, I've got it, which is also a problem I have with patenting things and protecting things, because you go into that flow and you do want to tell everybody about it. And actually that's where I struggle the most, to not tell people about it, because I'm like, oh my God, I was thinking about this all night. No, so the person that's the first phone call I make in the morning will hear it all. But I think regardless of what you're working on or what part it is, I think entrepreneurs see themselves in their own little part of the galaxy. Regardless of that, they're going to get that feeling because they feel like their accomplishment is true to them.
Actually, regarding your question, if a Eureka moment for anyone, it's a materialistic thing, purely materialistic, I will protect it. But if it's something, it will save us, it will enrich our environment, our society, I'm willing to share. I will do both.
Do you know one of the most
both of them
famous stories of those Eureka moments, when someone woke up in the morning and decided, I'm gonna sell rocks as pets, and he made millions out of it, and it's become a trend where they're buying rocks and petting them. Have you heard about them? I mean, and he made millions. Again, that was a Eureka moment for him. It's like, let me sell them something. Another guy who I heard He woke up in the morning and he said, I'm going to have an Eureka moment. I'm going to sell something very useful to people. And he made that PR campaign, fake it until you make it. And then he said, we'll sell you something that you can use it in walls, you can use it in your wood, you can use it in anything. And then when everybody, for $1, and then he collected the $1. And then in the end, it was just a nail. He sent them a nail. He didn't lie to them. But it was,
I heard about this story.
Yes.
It's real. It's a real
Yeah.
story. Yeah.
So, I mean, can we consider these are Eureka moments or these are scam moments?
I mean, from my point of view, I will see something because this is linked to what we are saying, leaving your job. Okay. This is one of the moments. Regardless, some people will tell you whatever you want to do, make money.
Yes.
You need to wake up and make money. This is real. So this is his Eureka moment. It's not an ethical thing now, okay? But this is his Eureka moment. But I'm saying, with this, like the space that they have, it will come with this amazing ideas, regardless it's ethical or non-ethical.
Ethical, yes.
For me, it's an unethical idea, but he did it.
How about you?
He nailed them.
He nailed them. They did. $1.
Indeed, he nailed them.
But on an ethical sense,
I mean, do we
I don't-
consider them Eureka or because to me, Eureka is something really positive. Sounds like, you know,
it depends what you think,
I
though.
find something that's useful, something.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
that's it. That's in line with your thinking, right? So if someone woke up this morning and said, well, I've got no food to feed my family, and then their Eureka moment is, wait a minute, hang on, I'll do an online campaign and this is what I've got. So using what you've got to make something that you need, that's a Eureka moment,
Yeah.
right? And so I think that's probably whether some people might consider it ethical gray area. They still achieved what they wanted to achieve, which may be the Eureka moment is that feeling you get when you've actually succeeded at something that was a hardship in the past and now isn't.
He gave them a good lesson.
Mm.
Don't buy anything just because there is a PR or something. Be sure about it.
Yeah.
This is a good lesson.
Yeah.
A good lesson.
What about you?
I think it's also relatives. Like for one person can be treated in ethical and unethical way, but if this person has a big influence on the mass, one part of the audience will find something useful and another part will find something not useful. Like I will give you an example. What happens right now in crypto, in Telegram. So there are tap to earn stuff. And in 2019, 20, 21, we had play to earn stuff. You can look at any X to earn thing, X to earn app as something like a Ponzi scheme or something where like a lot of people from Southeastern Asia and other countries, they just waste their time on earning like dollars from one point of view. But from another point of view, you can look at this as a new way of advertising and you can implement a lot of useful tasks inside because you have audience. You, for example, you can say, hey, please plant some new trees or clean the street or do more running. So this machine can work in both ways and it's all depends on the founder, like on also on the commander. If the founder has some mission, I don't know, for example, more oriented to save the planet is one. If the founder oriented more to earn money, you never know where it goes actually. But all the time you can find two sides all the time.
Yeah, wake up in the morning, Eureka moment says, oh, I'm going to rob a bank today. That would be a good idea, Eureka moment.
But it's how, like he will think about how to rob a bank. And then if he shows something
That's
new, some innovative view, it
Yes.
actually will give a growth to the startups who can prevent some other robbery. Or like they can create new anti-thief systems.
That's a very good way of putting it, yes. I might agree. Okay, I agree with you
It's
on
like,
that.
we should have these people.
With
So
more
there are more
lessons
people
and
trying
we'll
to
be
rob the
developing
banks.
our softwares. Right.
So let me ask you then, how many people out there do you think that are going to be listening to this are happy that we are indecisive on what a Eureka moment is and they're thinking the same thing as we are? Do you think that people are looking at this and saying, oh, hang on, wow, my Eureka moment is that they're not sure either?
The Eureka moment, I think, to me, is when I get those butterfly feelings in my chest, where I know it's like, well, hold on, this is it, and you know, you're actually not touching the ground. You're hovering on the ground. You think you're walking, but you feel like you're.
I'm actually can predict the reaction of the audience. I'm pretty sure there'll be comments. how many times this guy's mentioned Eureka.
Probably more times than
I've never
Archimedes
used
ever
like,
done.
can they speak about something else?
Yeah.
But it's a show. It's this episode is about this moment and what it means to startups. And
Right.
Yeah, but I
what do
think
they need to learn from
It's not
this?
that not the freedom of startups though. We can talk about whatever the hell we like, right? Because that's actually what makes a startup unique. Is because no one's trodden that path before. You're going down a line.
I think for the people on the other side of the screen, like the thing that can be useful, it's like because we discussed previously that we can sum up some of the ideas. We discussed this filtering. I think it's important. The more you fail, about the support, it's like without support, you can lose this. Even you have all these great ideas, and about this effect of like negativity. For example, even if you fail fast, it can be as a consequence you can be better next time. So I think for the audience maybe and for the founders, it can be useful somehow to look at the ideas, and if they see something similar to.
And I would like to add something very important here. Know your competition. Because your Eureka idea could be a really amazing idea, but you're not alone who's working on it. And someone else might perfect it even faster than you, better than you. There was a time when first ChatGPT came out and it was like, you know what? I got a Eureka idea. I'm going to use the API. I'm going to make myself co-pilot. I want to talk to them. I'm going to integrate voice. And I was serious about it. And I started to talk to people about it. Okay, let's work on this and all that. And I didn't know actually ChatGPT, the OpenAI themselves, that are working on the same idea. And Microsoft are working on the same idea. Google is working on the same idea. And if I would have known this, I had a feeling there is something, someone is working on it because it's a really good idea. I don't know why no one has said anything about it. No one has done anything about it. But apparently they were working on it. And if I would have invested any time, I mean, I did invest a bit of time, but money or resources, I would have regretted it because there's a bigger competition working. They can do a better job than me on the same Eureka ideas. And this is why you need to sometimes be realistic. Realistic. Is my idea implementable? Is it going to serve? Do I have a competition? Will I be able to take it from 0 to 100, or someone else is going to come and chop me half the way? This is where I think the best advice to.
Right. For I think that you want to do anything, any startup, any business, anything in general, you should really not study. Take your time, even 2 months, 3 months, 6 months. You have to take time.
Do the due diligence.
Yes, this is very important because it's not only wasting money, wasting resources, or because you have a life, you are building dreams. You need to study. Even you have to go more than that. Even there is no that much of competition. You have to study the market to see who's doing something. Even
validate your idea with the market demand.
Yeah, 100%. And this will take time, but it's very important. If it's the big idea, will not say Eureka again. Eureka or the big idea or the big implementation that you will do. Yes, you should do it and do it well. If it's real something.
I've got to be honest, I'm starting to feel a bit reckless because I would go and do it, right? Because even I think probably in my own head, it's like competition's one thing, but if you're watching competition, you're looking over your shoulder, you're going slower. Keep going, keep forging ahead, make your value and your vision.
Well, this is because you're doing market value. You know your market.
Right.
Your
This is
market
what I'm doing.
needs
Yes.
more than one. You know your market, and if all of you would not suffice the market demand, then of course, yes.
Yeah.
But you decided that because you've done the market study. You've done the diligence.
He's
That's-
experienced with his
Exactly,
sector.
yes.
He's experienced. This is what you
Well,
need to know.
I want to give you a good
Sometimes-
example. Sorry, someone has my preference. I say, okay, why should I, when I travel, I cannot take my suitcase with me? My suit. I don't want to carry my suit. I travel a lot. Is there any way that I can find a suit to rent in any country I go to? And that suits me because that's my personal requirement. And I was like, that's a good idea. That's a Eureka. Let me go and do a startup. Let's do a rent suits around the world, right? But do people, I mean, yes, you think there is a demand because you have demand for it. You believe in it. But how many people will
But sometimes his experience, without him knowing unconsciously, you know that you know it. But you think that because of this, you are excited and you will do it because you know it. But
more of what
You have
concerns me
experience
then
in it.
in that space is what you mentioned, right? You talk about failure, failing fast, right? And do you actually know when you've failed? That for me is something that's the defining moment. Is actually, do you recognize when you've failed, or how long does it take you to recognize you've failed to learn from it?
The thing is that honestly, I've never had fails in my life.
That's a big boast.
That's a big statement.
There's a lot of people on the other side there.
I can
not.
I can say that. No, I had one fail in my
This
life.
is not good.
Yeah, I can. No,
Every night in nightclubs, you had the failures.
no. And the nightclubs, I am quite successful as well. So I can say to you
Also.
also, yeah. So I just like okay, this is the way how you look at this. Of course, like I felt it, like, and if you look at the first, like I remember we launched some campaign in India and we had like 10 million clicks, and then we realized nobody wants to pay. Yes, it's a fail. But for me, it was like a big knowledge, and it may sound like obvious for the audience. Yes, I got some experience and all this stuff. But I think the most important is what you get eventually. If after every fail, you're upgrading yourself more and more, and the speed of this upgrading can be like very steady, like very small steps, or it can be exponential. So I think it's I would love to have even big fails, because even the amount of the round that you can raise and the amount of money that you can spend, it depends on the amount that you somehow fail. If you never fail, for example, with 1 or 2 mil, like raising, for example, 10 or 100 mil, you cannot like you cannot sell this experience to the people.
I want to ask you, each one of you now, as an advice based on your experience of your journey, like what we can say an advice, regardless what kind of success we are talking about.
Don't lose your brain.
For you, what is it? I need to know for you, for each one of us.
I'm joking.
Wait, advice for what? I didn't.
In general, for the Eureka moment, you found it.
To find
What's
it.
the
Love
you
it.
Found it.
Yes.
What's the advice?
Love it and interrogate it.
Right.
And then if you tick all the boxes, don't give up on it.
For me, it's the same as well. You found it, study it well,
Yes.
know it well, be sure well. If it's ticking all of the boxes, don't let it go no matter what. This is the same thing.
Okay, so I think I said before that sometimes being an entrepreneur can be like being slapped and told you're stupid every day, right? If you're at that point when you go and you get that moment that makes you feel so good, the first thing you got to do is enjoy it, right? Before you start investigating yourself, before you start going out to the planet and trying to work out whether it actually is that
We
good.
know we want those moments.
Those moments can be so few and far between sometimes.
Yeah.
Ride the crest of the
Very
wave.
exciting.
And actually, even if that isn't the Eureka moment, you might get your next one from
Enjoy it.
Right? So
Oh,
just
no, don't
ride
you
it.
get
Make
the
it,
sugar
get
rush? Then after that hype, you fall down.
the dopamine, suck it up, enjoy it.
Yes, right.
smile
Don't
on
you get
your
a
face,
dip after that?
and then move on. No, I think, to be honest, maybe that dip is where you guys need to start dissecting your Eureka moment. But I prefer to just think, you know what, that's
very
another
nice.
milestone I've passed. Tick one off and keep going.
For you?
I think I really like this. Enjoy. It's really
Yeah.
enjoy, build, fail, build, and reiterate.
Yeah. And then
That's great.
if you love it so much, you're going to try hard the next time, right? So if you enjoy that moment, it is, and it even makes me smile because I think back when you talk about it, and I think people watch this and say, "Wow, do you remember when I did this?" Unfortunately, when I think about the same thing, you think about your fail cycle, because once you haven't had a Eureka moment for a while, you go back into your fail and you're like, "Oh, it's been a while. It's been a while."
Yeah.
Yeah, it's been a bit of a drudge these last
But
few
also,
weeks.
I would have another advice: limit your Eureka moments.
Yeah.
Don't stretch yourself. We kind of sometimes we can fall in that trap where we think of ourselves. Look, hold on, I get myself. Let me do another one. Let me go another
like
one.
a
circle,
Another one.
No, go
In this
crazy.
circle.
Go
You
crazy.
get
Go crazy.
you get addicted to that hype, that feeling. You get the dopamine.
That's
yeah.
actually what I wanted to add. Like imagine, like just for someone, you Elon Musk or Steve Jobs. Imagine how many moments they had, but they have the focus consistency, and they will keep on building. So I would say the biggest advice, first of all, focus. You have amazing ideas, but you're already building something. And I always ask myself, okay, I like the idea, but is it aligned with my mission? If it's like about the cheating. Why you made like second time others? It means you didn't love the first person. That's why you met the second person. So it's the same with your company. If you want to sacrifice your time, your team, funding, everything, and start something else, it means it was not true love. So that's why you always need to remember about your mission. And if this is aligned with your mission, and if the alignment is better than the first idea, yes, I would go for this. If not, cool idea, yeah, but keep on doing what you're doing, because this is actually a crazy moment. When it's boring, when is the moment when you need to build the company, when you need to work, when you need to be focused? This is the moment when you want to jump to another stuff. This is like the moment when 9 out of 10 startups actually, they lose this opportunity to build a unicorn. Not even a unicorn, like build something. So I would say just remember about your mission and be focused. Because
this is what you said. One of our problems that we are facing, getting bored, because as your advice, do it, enjoy it, take the dopamine. The adrenaline is very high, but we'll get bored. We'll jump to the next thing, but you'll be lucky if it's in the same field that you choose.
Oh, you'll be very lucky.
The same big Eureka. This is the small Eureka. It will be nice.
Something that keeps me going right through it is I think it was Robin Sharma in his book about the Everyday Hero Manifesto, and he's saying that life actually is unfolding in your favor, right? And actually that keeps you going for the next to the next to the next, and actually that's what makes you reflect on positive, negative, where you're going. And if you believe that something happened because it was meant to happen, then the next thing that comes along is going to be your positive moment, right? And so that's the mindset that I really tried to embed in myself early on. Even though I'm getting a no, I'm getting a yes eventually.
I'm summarizing the two. What you guys said is, and you as well, maybe, failure is part of the journey.
Right.
So you fail. This doesn't mean you failed, you pulled the plug. It's just because now you are on the journey and you are going from one step to another step. And that's probably going from a Eureka moment to another Eureka moment to another Eureka moment. Am I right here?
Right. Losing the battle doesn't mean that you lost the war. For sure.
I just got some concept. It looks like a big vector. So like a spaceship without engines. And like once you have this vector and all the small ideas, they either add some fuel, an engine, or it's like asteroids. So just like you crash.
Someone's dragging a foot.
Yes. You just collect it. We're just flying in space and time.
Yes.
And we're collecting some rubbish.
Debris.
Debris, mostly. Yeah. Or you can find someone who can add some engine and you can fly further. So.
From my side, thank you very much, guys, for this, let's say, this Eureka moment and this brainstorming. Let's say more and more. I was very happy and delighted to meet you all.
Yes. I'm sure there will be a lot watching this, and there will be, I don't know, cursing us maybe, or appreciating what we say maybe. But that's true. I mean, we all have gone through this journey. We all have those moments, and we all shared those the high moments and the painful moments when you realize your Eureka moment, it wasn't really Eureka. It was more it wasn't a Shurika as in cha-ching. It did not lead to the cha-ching in the end.
I mean, for me, I think it helps, right? So if you've got, being an entrepreneur can be a lonely place. And I think we've all been there. You can feel that you are isolated, you are on your own. Sometimes people just don't get what you've seen. And I think there's probably people there saying, well, okay, it's normal, right? It is normal. If you're in that level of uncertainty, that you never feel 100% secure. And let's face it, we're entrepreneurs. We enjoy not being secure. That's the lifestyle we chose. And I think that's probably just as comforting for people to listen to.
Right. Yeah, I'm also very grateful for this podcast. I think the one thing that I really gained from the conversation is I really want to continue building as fast as possible, because I just somehow look in the mirror and just found something like, I have this idea, but then you're not acting. So I think what I would wish to myself just to act more. And thanks to you guys for highlighting this again. Yeah, thank you so much.
Welcome.
Yeah,
Thanks.
you're most welcome. Thank you very much. I enjoyed this session. I feel like I have like-minded people as well. I'm not mad. I'm not
not alone.
crazy. I'm not
Not
alone.
alone.
That I come up with those weird ideas. Sometimes it feels like really weird. It's like, and you question yourself, like, am I insane thinking this? Is everybody else like me, or am I? You
All of
know,
us.
is it worth? Is it? You know, you question yourself. You go in doubt, and especially when you are high on that feelings, the dopamine is like, yeah. So thanks for sharing your insights into this. I appreciate that.